You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WAUK Daily News Roundup for the Shaw, 101.1 FM and 540 AM in Waukesha.
For 540 WAUK News, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. The Milwaukee Montessori School has agreed to pay $290,000 and implement new policies after settling with the Justice Department over discrimination allegations. Federal officials say the school denied admission to children with disabilities, expelled students, and failed to provide reasonable accommodations, violating the Americans with Disabilities Act. The settlement requires the school to compensate affected families, pay a civil penalty, and submit to government monitoring to ensure compliance going forward. A Costco might be coming to Milwaukee County. The Milwaukee Business Journal reports Franklin's Common Council has approved a contract for a traffic analysis tied to the project. If built, it would be the first Costco in the county, joining several others in the region. The store's exact location hasn't been finalized, but the study is focusing on an area near 27th Street in Drexel. The teachers' union opposes the move, but district leaders say it's needed to boost academic outcomes for Milwaukee students. Milwaukee Public Schools says they're moving 181 central office employees into new roles in classrooms. New Superintendent Brenda Casillas says the changes come after a state audit that found deficiencies in the district. Some entities might be blocked from buying homes. Brittany Merlot has more.
State Democrats are proposing legislation that would block hedge funds from purchasing single-family homes in Wisconsin, as the state sees growing home prices and low housing supply in many municipalities. Lawmakers say the legislation would help prevent residents from being priced out of the market by investment money. And with nearly unlimited resources, hedge funds have roughly outbid individual home buyers for properties, operating them as rental properties or flipping them for a profit soon after.
Yeah, Mets news on 540 WAUK. I'm Stuart J. Waddles.
Milwaukee heads to Florida for a 3-game series. Hi, I'm Jimmy Kuska filling in for Mike Clemens. After taking 2 of 3 games from the Houston Astros this week to get back to 500, the Brewers are taking on the Tampa Bay Rays for a 3-game set this weekend. The Rays are currently on a 3-game losing streak and sit 5 games below 500. Milwaukee is 3 games back in the NL Central. The NBA playoffs continued tonight. Last night it was the Minnesota Timberwolves blowing past the Golden State Warriors 117-93 to even up the series at a game apiece. Tonight's games include the Pacers taking on the Cavaliers, where Indiana leads 2-0, and the Nuggets taking on the Thunder in a series currently tied at a game apiece. The NFL is announcing its schedule next Wednesday in full, but the league announced that it will release select games on its broadcast partners. Several games will be announced between CBS, Fox, NBC, and ESPN, as well as streaming platforms Amazon Prime and Netflix on Monday and Tuesday. The full schedule will then be announced Wednesday at 7 p.m. on the NFL Network. Lower-seeded teams in the WIAC Baseball Championship won both games yesterday as Platteville and Oshkosh advanced. They'll square off today. La Crosse and host Whitewater play in an elimination game to start things off today. One of those 4 schools will be crowned conference champion tomorrow afternoon at the end of the double elimination tournament. Today is the start of the WIAC Softball Championship at top-seeded Whitewater. Oshkosh is the number 2 seed. Both Whitewater and Oshkosh have a bye until tomorrow's semifinal round. Platteville takes on La Crosse, while Stevens Point gets Eau Claire. The winners today will play tomorrow in the semifinals, followed by the WIAC Championship game. Filling in for Mike Clemens, I'm Jimmy Kuska with Civic Media Sports.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Just days after the president announced 100% tariffs on foreign films, there is serious pushback. According to Variety, the proposal is on shaky legal ground as the president has been using the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977, which gives him power to regulate trade in times of national emergency. But a Georgetown law professor says a 1994 amendment says the president can't stop the flow of audio-visual media. Since announcing the executive order, the White House said nothing official has been decided. Maybe Trump will forget about tariffs altogether after his failed run at the papacy. Keeping it papal, we have a new pope. But fun fact, according to The Hollywood Reporter, cardinals in Rome watched the movie Conclave as a research tool to help them in selecting the new pontiff. Politico reports that many cardinals called the film remarkably accurate. Coincidentally, the new pope's last name is not Fiennes, Lithgow, or Tucci. A new book about the show Better Call Saul reveals an interesting journey for the character of Saul Goodman. The character was first introduced on Breaking Bad before receiving its own spin-off, Better Call Saul. The role elevated actor Bob Odenkirk's career to a new level, although he probably would have gotten there anyway. The book, Saul Goodman v. Jimmy McGill, the complete critical companion to Better Call Saul, reveals that AMC wanted producers of Breaking Bad to scrap the Saul Goodman character altogether, but the producers stuck to their guns. Saul first appears in Season 2 of Breaking Bad, but before he went by that moniker, he was Jimmy McGill, as we learned in the prequel, Better Call Saul. Also a fun fact, the Saul Goodman character was almost played by actor Michael McKean, who played Jimmy McGill's older brother Chuck, also a lawyer on Better Call Saul. I realize this only makes sense if you are a fan of both shows. If you've got 800 smackers burning a hole in your pocket, you could see Jerry Seinfeld live. Seinfeld will be performing at Madison's Overture Center on May 30th. I recommend going to the Overture Center's website, where tickets start anywhere from $70 to $90. But if you want to sit close enough to make sure Jerry flosses those piano keys, make sure you get your tickets off the Overture site, where they are a pricey $500, but still $300 cheaper than other outlets. If you're thinking about heading to Summerfest this year, make sure you check their website. Wednesday on Nightlight, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel music writer Piet Levy told me a lot of acts have been added since the lineup was announced in February. This year's performers include The Killers, Def Leppard, Lainey Wilson, Gigi Perez, Billy Corgan and his new band. And if you're feeling retro, check out the Isley Brothers, Rick Springfield, and Devo. The event takes place over the course of 3 weekends and opens in about 6 weeks. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Mostly sunny today. We'll get to the upper 50s for a high this afternoon. The wind will be out of the southeast at 5 to 15. Clear tonight, 47. Tomorrow, sunny, 63 on Sunday, sunshine, with a high of 65. We'll get to 71 on Monday. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 46.
That's your WAUK Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WAUKradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.